Hello. Okay. I guess we're really live now. Perfect. Uh, been doing this for years. Same issues. Happy Friday. If you're watching the VOD, happy, I don't know, maybe Friday. Maybe I'll upload this right afterwards because it's still pretty early. So, happy Friday. Unless I got distracted, then happy Saturday or Sunday, maybe Monday. Coffee bucket ASMR. Oh man, the audio is all messed up. Robert's gonna get mad at me if I don't fix this. Cause it looks like the desktop audio is playing in mono again or something. Let me see if I can fix that. All the audio was screwed up. Nope, now you don't hear anything. Sorry guys, I will say hello to you in a moment. Once I figure out my stuff. How about now? No. No, I think it's still jacked up. So you're gonna hear the audio in like mono. How did we fix this before? Robert helped me fix it before. I don't know, man. Sorry, Robert. We'll fix it soon. How are the levels aside from the fact that it's like mono or whatever? Devil250 said, "What up, Cheese Whiz?" What's going on? I don't think anybody has come in here and said, "What up, Cheese Whiz?" before. And that makes me happy. I want to get to know more about you. Just from that. Hey Pipes, Scientific, Thadvic, what's going on? Ghastly, thank God it's Friday. You know, most days are good days on my end. So, but it is cool when it's Friday because my wife only works half days on Friday, and so we were able to go get some lunch together, hang out a little bit. Now she's at the range. I should probably not say where she's at. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. This is a live stream. That is not good. That is not good, OPSEC. What's up, Tsunami-san? Ghastly, I was just responding to you. What's up, Derelict? Pipes said, just watched your interview with Slay yesterday. Wonderful stuff. Thanks. Thank you to everybody that's been complimentary on that. It makes me feel good because I get done with something. I think I mentioned it before. I can stream with you guys and it's just kind of like hanging out. I don't feel awkward most of the time. There are some streams. Well, I've deleted like I think 2 or 3 VODs in 6 years where afterwards I was like, I'm just going to delete the VOD. Though the first one I'm thinking of, I did get pretty shit-faced. And that was like, I think even before M&M. But then, yeah, so anyway, but then when I do an interview, it's like blah, 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 me. And I feel bad afterwards because it's like, you don't need 5 hours of me talking about me. I'm scrolling all the way down to make sure I don't miss anything crazy while you guys are rolling in. But then I'll scroll back up and say hi to folks. Criddle said, the robot found out yesterday that the strength formula is broken. Once you hit 201 strength, your damage starts to decrease rather than increase. Yeah, the guys are, there's a fix that I believe the fix has just gone in for that. I don't know if it was you that found it and passed it along or somebody else passed it along, but yeah. So that is the kind of shit that when I say like the guys have been going through all the formulas and looking at all of the foundational stuff to make sure stuff works the way it's supposed to work, it's that kind of thing. So there's been a little bit of a handoff on focus on deep dives, class revamps, but also making sure the game just works. So yeah, let me scroll up. Shitty Player Killer, hello and thanks. Been a while since I said that name out loud. Colt, Javastine, Gulu Gulu, what's going on? Hey Chaz Solo, the ever talented. Hirsch, what's up? I think I said Choclar already with the Prepotente emote, but it's not really. Conk Donkey, OP. Ixar, what's going on? Hello, Gunnar Fat Dragon. Fat Dragon, you're not related to Bald and Fat in Discord, are you? Hey, what's up, Todd? The week is good. It's just they go by too quick. But the week has been good. It's been a really good week. It's just they go by too fast. What's up, Murpus? Hey, there's Slayheim. That is the man right there. I think if you're ever stressed, if I don't know, and maybe I should, and I feel bad if I should and I don't, but I don't know what you do for it, IRL, Slayheim, but people should just pay you to talk to them. You don't need therapy, folks. You just need Slayheim to just talk to you and calm you down. He is the Bob Ross of gaming. Look at that classic MMO dome. Oh, my hat. My lack of hat. Yeah. Now you get to see how gray and thin you've made my hair over the last 5 years. Everybody, give yourselves a big pat on the back. What's up, Timote? Old Man, Icaros, Happy Face Productions. Pork 1919 is new here. That's cool. Delta Papa 22. Guten Tag. Also new. Or first-time chatters, I guess. Could be a long-time listener. First-time chatter. Who knows? Ace Rimsky, G. Willikers, Costanza, Postate. Disenchanted. Devil 250 said, you better say hello or I rage quit. Oh man. I don't know. You'd be the first person to ever rage quit something associated with me. I don't know if I can handle it. You're a 20-year player of EQ since beta. This game's looking amazing. Hoping I get a beta key raffle today. Oh shit. Oh wait, I don't think I'm doing those anymore. I think Trent and Derelict have that covered now. I don't think I have that responsibility anymore. I think it's been delegated. Yes. No hat. I just didn't feel like hatting it up to the... I haven't had a hat on all day. You're just seeing the shine on the dome. Look how shiny. My wife, the true story is my wife asked me like a week ago or something. She goes, no, it's longer than that. It was like 3 weeks ago because it was before we went to her cousin's wedding. And I was like, man, I don't know. I need a hat or something that would work at a wedding. She's like, what? Do you not like your hair? I was like, I don't have any hair, babe. It's gone. She's like, I haven't noticed. I was like, I wear a hat every single day. You wouldn't notice. And then she's like, well, why don't you like it? I was like, it's not that I don't like it. I wear a hat every day. I started doing it, and then it happened. And so then I decided I need to not wear my hat as much. I don't want people thinking I can't live without it or something. It's weird. It was like one of those moments where it's kind of like, am I ashamed? No, I'm not ashamed. I'm not a young man anymore. Gotta let the noodle breathe. I'm not. That's bait. That's a comment about me wearing pants during the stream. Maniac25 said I'm a hat guy too. I just had the same conversation with myself. Is that? Yeah, right? Is it? Because I really had to I had to check myself a little bit. I was like, am I ashamed? Would I prefer the mane of hair? Just like the Swedish 70-year-old man, full head of hair, beautiful silver hair. Would I prefer it? Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be down for that. But do I care? I don't think I do, really. I don't think I do. Hair transplant from Turkey is just not in the cards. I had that conversation with somebody recently as well. I just don't I'm like, I don't understand how it holds up. First of all, if you've had a hair transplant, God bless you, and I hope that it's been good to you. So anything I say is out of ignorance. I don't know. How does it work? So what about the hair that falls out around the transplant? And also, and again, I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but because I've seen content creators that have had hair transplant, a lot of wow kind of guys and stuff. It seems like there's been a few, plus Cowboy Cerrone and some other people. To me, it looks a little different. It looks kind of a little fluffier, and so I'm not sure about that. And then I just my main thing with it is just kind of I've always, I mean, you look at Elon Musk or whatever. He had no hair and then he became a billionaire and he's got gorgeous hair. So I know it's possible. Gorgeous hair. I just said that. Pause. But my thing is so what would happen if I got the hairs added and then the other hairs fell out? I just don't. I don't know. Maybe one day that's the move. Maybe it'll be as normal as a face tattoo, and I won't think anything of it. And I want my beautiful hair back. But so far, I'm like, maybe one day if I decide I want to look like a wizard, I just need to, because wizard hair would be cool. My dad had wizard hair before he died. He had he was kind of bald here, but he had long hair and a big white beard. Hey, Class and Cool, thank you very much. All head pats and compliments will be received well on this end. No Hat Fridays. Maybe that will be the move moving forward. I'm so Dad said, hey Sean, we are still looking forward to raids returning to the game. Thanks again. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting them in, but we got work to do. Hey Pilgrim Burger, Marcy, Guar, Talette. Doggeroni, hello. Perez Dispenser. Did I miss what class revamp's coming next? Has Zillith not spilled the beans at all? No, you guys are just guessing now. I can tell you're just guessing because you're wrong. It's amazing how problems go away when you're a trillionaire. Some, I guess, other problems probably appear. The thing I've slowly learned in life is, at least at my level, is there's always some problem, right? So you might as well just get used to the idea of there being problems. There's going to be some problem. When can you expect raids back on PvP server? Well, we're going to try really hard to have them in by EA. How about that? And then it'd be nice to have them in before that. So, but the thing is, there's some stuff that as we're discussing them, we're adding in new functionality. So it's not just a matter of like going into the abilities database and updating some stuff or tweaking some values. It really is a matter of, hey, how do we want this to work in terms of spawning? How do we want this to work in terms of who's interacting with it? Or are there any rules set up here? And then how do we want this to work with regards to the rewards? So, Double 250, you were just awarded a key, like just now. Did they run the lottery? I don't see a message saying they ran the lottery, or did they? Oh, someone gave you a key? It takes a little while. It takes a little while. Ezekiel asked a second question. I'm curious. What were you thinking with that question? Your second question, not your first question. Class and Cole said, I'm waiting for the short king surgery. Where they stretch you out like Stretch Armstrong. Hey, Dargit, did I already acknowledge you in your comments? Derelict said keys did just go out and an announcement was just sent. That's awesome, man. That's so nice. Yeah. Devil 250. It sometimes it takes a little bit. I'm So Dad said, we don't want rules for raid bosses such as controlled spaces. Sounds terrible. You're basically implementing instancing if that's your intent. Cool. Appreciate your opinion. So it is something for the one that so far we've looked at doing controlled spaces. It's not a raid. It's a 6-man encounter that we want to keep a 6-man encounter. So it gives us the ability to say 6-man or 12. Sorry if that sounds terrible to you. Don't know what to say. For the rest of them, they're not in controlled spaces. So when I say rules, it's basically first to engage has been brought up in the past. And not a huge fan of like layering in a like open world content, layering in rules that limit you from being able to interact with the mob, blah blah blah. So the thing that we're working on is less about layering in sort of any sort of a rule or something like that, and more how do we want these guys tuned so that if it's zerged, the encounter accounts for that, but then how is it properly tuned for the people that are supposed to be there? So that's kind of just raid tuning. Yeah. And so ultimately I know the argument could be made like, well, but if there is a room that only one group can access and nobody else can access it, and then they're doing something in there, even though there are not multiple instances of that room running in parallel and everybody doesn't get their own chance and it's still contested prior to that, it's still considered instanced in Elf Court. Ultimately, then all I can say is, all right, cool. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, but then that doesn't, if you read page 275 of the Code of Classic MMO, then you're in violation of subsection C of Shared World section 305. And then you're just not legit, guys, and we don't like you anymore. Okie dokie. Cool, man. Then they immediately are like, this is not classic. Log out and go play EQL. So Ezekiel, so that's the second time you've asked that, and so now I'm thinking you're not. Like, we have some people that come in, they're just silly. They say silly stuff sometimes, and they're like Dargith. Dargith will come in and bust my balls in a silly way. But if you're serious, then my answer is no. Sorry. I'm sorry that sometimes some of the players don't like some of the GMs. Yeah, that somebody said GM should never be friends with players ever. It's an interesting one because somebody sent me a message and was like, one of the GMs is in a bunch of guild discords, and it's like, yeah, you're probably referencing Trent, and Trent has been invited to a lot of different guilds discords and has in the past popped in and like clarified rules or talked to them or whatever. It's kind of just a community thing. It's like, well, but some people think there's bias, and my only response was like, people are going to, here's the deal. We have the game that we have with a PNP, with GMs, with PvP, with all sorts of stuff. We're going to be accused of being biased no matter what. We're going to be accused of misconduct no matter what. People are going to get banned and then say that they were banned because they did nothing wrong, but they said the wrong. There's a constant sort of like, I got banned just for disagreeing with the guys. It's like, Dude, our Discord and Reddit's full of disagreement. But, I'm trying to catch up. But yeah, so it's gonna happen. So it's just kind of like, all right, cool. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say to you. I know what to do, which is just like, go, okay. Amnesiac, that's a good question. Said, just wondering, you guys began talking about what stuff we'd be getting in Module 1 roughly a year ago, give or take a few months. Will we be getting more info on what to expect for Module 2 pretty soon? That's a fair question. We were talking a little bit about we weren't talking a little bit about roadmaps today. I was thinking a lot about roadmaps this week, and then I just happened to post this, like, link to another game's roadmap that I thought was really cool. So maybe we'll update some roadmap stuff soon. Regarding the controlled spaces, sounds like old Plane of Justice trials and Ring of Spores event from Classic EQ. A single group use rooms at a time. Yeah, that was like pre-Eldon stuff where we were playing around with the concept before we had added instancing. But yeah. What is the other game? Tavern Keeper, believe it or not. Let me see. Tavern Keeper. I wouldn't do it stylistically. I wouldn't do it exactly like this, but something about their roadmap I thought was just kind of neat and visual. Like I said, I wouldn't do it exactly like this, but it was, I don't know, it's kind of like, there's some interesting ideas in how to present it. So, as a starting point, I just thought, like, I pictured this with some goblin art, and then maybe a different way of conveying, now, next, later. Looks like Rehawk's Night Harbor newspaper format. A little bit, doesn't it? But it's very enjoyable in a kind of a superficial way. So, I don't know. I thought it was cool. Yeah, I appreciate all the GMs a ton. I can't overstate that. It's a massive help to know that the guys are handling petitions, because before we had all the GMs here, we were pulling petitions ourselves. It was a lot of like Swanee and me and other folks on the team that have other stuff that they're doing. So knowing that the petitions are getting handled is massive. And then it's a hard job because our environment just feels like a live environment. It doesn't really feel like it's just a test environment. You know what I mean? Right? Because you guys are acting and complaining and stuff in ways that are very much just kind of like live game. So we learn a lot. It's a nice way of hardening the service before we go into EA. I always assumed that we'd be having to do a lot of the hardening once we're in EA. So, yeah. You have some good people. Every petition has been quick and solved within 2 minutes. Can't complain. Like it. Like to hear it. Glurk Diente? Is that, or is it Glurk Dien 3? Either way, first time chat said, I like complaining, and smiled. Which, Glurk Dient. There we go. Glurk Dient. Does that mean you're an int named Glurk? Vincent Spice. Nikki Bunnies, thank you for the follows. Any updates on when you can test the deep? Is it still looking by end of the month? I think it's going to bleed over end of the month by a week or two. We'll see. The guys are, it's there. There's content in it, but my main concern with us going live with the deep zones right now is we'd have to put a big disclaimer on it. And I don't know how well that's going to work because folks don't read disclaimers very well. And even if it was like a short video, it's funny, I was reading comments on the most recent like short video. I think it's a 30-second video. It's a 30-second video that I think covers a lot of the points. It's the one about maps in game, and basically we say, yeah, we don't have maps in game. We don't mind people looking on a second monitor on maps that other people have made because there's some great maps that people have made, like Chat Solo. We've stated that one day we would probably put static maps in game, and it would be cool to find a map. And you know, maybe there's a treasure map. I think all of this is covered in like the 30-second video. You have to watch it again. Let me know. I'll have to watch it again. And so it's not off the table. We just think there's already maps, and we don't mind that people are using it and think it's kind of cool that people tab over and see other people's maps, blah, 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 but it's not off the table. In the comments, and it's like a 30-second video, but then there's comments about, these guys are so set in their ways and will never have maps. And I'm just like, it took you longer to write the comment than to watch the video that I think states the opposite of, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I love you guys. Co-Carnage is correct. Co-Carnage, if you're out there somewhere, you were 1000% correct. We just need someone to just read and answer all the comments. I just feel so, I would feel bad. I would feel bad if it wasn't. This may not make sense to anybody, I guess, but we started this whole project based on the idea of like we were just sitting and chatting. I mean, the project started because I was sitting and chatting in here with you guys before there was a game, before there was a team, before there was an Ollie or a Nick or a Bunny. Just chatting with you guys about stuff that we liked, and then it came together. And so we've always talked, just the two of us, you and I. We've always just talked. And then like 20 people would watch the video, and then there would be a comment, and we would reply to all the comments. Like, thank you for the comment. It's so exciting. We have a comment. And now it's like, there's just, there are more comments, and they're different. VOD watchers, you can skip forward 15 minutes. Oh, am I on the usual rant? Anyway, no, we're good. We'll move on. People just want to know which classes are on deep dive next. I hope it's still enjoyable as it used to be. It is, but it's different. It is, but it's definitely different. I mean, it's super cool. It's a incredible opportunity, and I mean, we're doing so much more than I think we thought we were going to be doing. And it's cool that people are focused on us. But I don't know. I'm cool with it being, 100 of us again, and just kind of continue to pluck away at the game. Or 30 of us or 20 of us. I mean, in the early days, I think it was probably, we stayed around, what, maybe 20, 30 people in here early on? 40 people. Broken Stoic, by the way, that is an extremely nicely done, concise summary of, I'm losing my English. Stoic said, yeah, basically outlines that you aren't against it, but it's a big undertaking as a developer to design, develop, and produce those maps for everything, especially in the way that we are talking about, right? Like, we would want there to be variety, and some maps are better than others. We have, like I said, we have prototyped that. We actually, I think last time I asked about it, if I could mention, I could have sworn that I got the go ahead. Goblin and Chaz Solo have like kicked stuff around behind the scenes a bit, like we've looked at different approaches and looks and how would we want to do them and how much would we want to show and what are stylistic options and all that stuff, like, so. But like I said, we're super good with the maps just existing out there. And then over time, I mean, so when you talk about it, does it feel different? This is probably going to sound super weird, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's a taboo thing to say or something. But there are definitely times where I wish we were at the stage that we're at now, looking at EA in a, couple of months, basically. I wish we were at this stage and like 2,000 of you have heard of us. That's it. That I think would be the super sweet opportunity. Glad everybody's here. Glad people have heard of us. It's just we have this idea for a game, and we want it to be a super cool experience, and there's a lot of stuff that we're going to work through, and once we're in EA, as we're making changes that we'd be making changes anyway on, like, then there'll be the feedback of, oh, now they're changing it because people were complaining, and it's just like, no, this shit was going to change anyway, or hey, we wanted to do this 2 years ago when we tried an implementation and it either didn't work or somebody on the team disagreed and undid it or whatever. And it'd be cool to do more of that before release. It'd be cool to do more of that before you even saw it in beta. But at this point, you guys have already been seeing it, right? So it's not like we could hide it. I mean, we're still averaging, I think last time I looked, we're still averaging like 4,500 unique people playing each week. I really need to sit down and break it out more to kind of see, like, there's the week to week, like weekly uniques, but then there's also monthly uniques, and then we need to look at kind of like, is there a way to look at the cohorts and stuff over time? But it's such a like impure sort of like set of data because people quit for different reasons, and we get feedback. You know, some people just churn, and then some people are quitting because they're like, I've seen enough. I see a lot of messages. I've seen enough, and I'm just waiting for EA. And it's like, okay, hope you come back. But what if you had missed out on the Lich and Mimi memes by not having us around? No, I think Lich has been here forever. I can't remember when Mimi popped up. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't feel bad that you're here. It's one of those things where I'm kind of like, man, we just want the game to be as good for folks as possible. We know that when we go into EA or premature release, as Corinthia is reminding me, that we still got work to do. So, but hey, maybe if it's not 100% your jam, or you don't love it in October, then maybe December or March or whenever you come back, then maybe we've addressed your thing a bit. Any plans to advertise Super Bowl a bit more? Seems participation is really low compared to pre-wipe. Yeah, I mean, I could kind of do that now. I was thinking we might send out like a bigger mailer, and maybe I've talked to Swanee and Ollie about like just sending something to all of our registered users, all of our registrations, even though there's a lot of duplicates and some people got fancy and, use the guild invite allocation to get a bunch of like kind of not real accounts in that we dealt with in past blah blah blah. And so I think there'll be a lot of like just dead accounts, but it'd still be nice to send it out, because I haven't looked lately, but I think we've got like kind of ridiculous number of registrations. Those always just kind of build up. And then we'll probably incentivize it a little bit a couple of weeks before EA. Will all classes get overhauls before EA launch? We're hoping so, but I mean, I'm not going to say 100%. I'm going to talk to Zilith and Jahar a bit this weekend and see if we can get like a revised roadmap in place for that. When is the next patch plan to launch? I think we lock it down on the 29th, and then it'll probably sit on staging for like a week. So what is that? So probably in the first week of August. Classes that are being worked on right now, if it hasn't been stated, then I think it's okay to state. I don't know why it wouldn't be. So we've already let me see. I'm gonna check Slack really quick. Elron said, "Good to know. It would be good to know. I can't see myself paying for EA if my classes haven't been finalized." I think that's fair. We wouldn't, and we wouldn't try to force it on you. We would understand if you wanted to hold off. Are you going to add decor like fabric, awnings, plants, rugs to buildings, like the one that we're looking at? Over time, we do want to support that. Things like awnings, additional, additional sign options, potentially over time, additional points where you can move your sign. We've had some additional signs made that were like kind of the post that extends out and some other stuff. Window treatments, so being able to put stuff in the window, awnings, different signs, different doors, and want to integrate more functionality into it. And essentially, there are houses that I run into, and I'm like, man, I really hope this gets used for X. And so part of the idea is like, all right, how do we set it up so that you're really kind of incentivized and rewarded for using different locations in different ways? Also, with some of these, should they be unlocks, like a quest that you'd have to do? So if you're the first one to do the quest, then you've got access to it and other people can do the quest, and then they're basically, if this person ever fails to pay the rent or whatever, then you're there. Because like this one, this has to be a bait shop, right? Like, it's got to be like fishing related, right? You know. Then there's just some really interesting places where, like, all right, it's got to be a shop. You know, this is such a cool location. So anyway, and we've talked about ideas in the past. It won't be in for like EA launch, but it's the idea of having different housing have different purposes, and then having that provide both the player but also the community certain benefits, right? So it's that idea of if there are player-run taverns or gambling parlors or certain shops or whatever, then new NPCs may start showing up, that type of thing. And they may show up and go to those locations, but they'll show up in kind of in town in general, and they may provide new opportunities. We'll be able to craft fishing lures to sell in the bait shop. Yeah. And Ollie's working, I think Ollie's picked up fishing. So I think Ollie's working on fishing right now along with some other stuff. He's on vacation, so he's just like plowing through stuff. Hey, Justin Beard, what's going on, buddy? My dear friend, Justin Beard. Building behind you by the water has a bad floating door. Doesn't touch foot by Whiskey. I think I might have fixed that one as I'm adding stuff in here. Pilgrim. Has the team discussed ways to cultivate a healthy PvP population? Maybe increasing drop rates of rare items or something? Honestly, mostly ping cross on that stuff. I don't see us in doing things that make it so that make the PvP server deviate substantially from PvE in certain regards like that. Craft Thor says, do you have plans to add NPC chatter to add more lore that can be picked up from their dialogue? Over time, yeah. We also added a couple things that are handy. I think I've already mentioned support for random text, which we're using for all sorts of stuff, gameplay and responses and like tavern gossip and stuff like that. It's a nice tool. But what else? We just added something that damn, I'm drawing a blank. Now it's gonna seem hyped up and Tech Writer, you're the one that would remember this for sure. Oh, the ability for... Oh, I know what it is. Because it's linked to the emotes. Because I was like, yeah, the emote's cool. Oddly, we didn't have the ability for like NPCs to actually animate in response. So if it says like Loki shrugs, it would just say Loki shrugs. But now in theory, you can be like Loki shrugs. The thing we added is support for default bad text. No, it's called like the field is like bad prompt. What do we call it? You guys don't give a shit about this part. Trust me, like what we actually called it, but it's on my mind now. So if I go to NPC. So essentially, it is when you say the wrong thing to an NPC, it was really throwing a lot of people off who have never played something like this at all, that there's zero response. Yeah, it's basically anything that is the incorrect response can now pull from a table of responses, which in theory we can make unique per NPC, but we have like a generic list at the moment that put on like most NPCs. So they're like, huh? I don't understand. Come again? Looks at, emotes, looks at you confused, right? So you're getting some feedback. Yeah, it's essentially error text, Brimcon. In-character error text. So... in terms of gambling in game, yeah, I mean, we don't see a problem with it. Oh, no, maybe, yeah, I'm not even going to mention it. One of our new, just got added to the team yesterday. Programmers added a little something in that hopefully you'll like. Yeah, so, Yushu said, that's a dumb question, now be gone. Because the way that it's set up is that it's essentially, it's a field on every NPC. So every NPC now has this field, and then it just pulls from a list of random entries that we have, and we can make that list as big as we want. And so we set up like the default bad prompt, which is just kind of common ones, but I think we've already added in, there's like the default one, I was putting in some different examples, and then I figured Loki and other folks could expand on it. Let me look. Random text. I think it's there's default mute, because we had to like, I immediately realized there's the case of Stumpy, who doesn't talk. So he's got, basically if a character can't talk for some reason, they can use the mute bad prompt say. Then there's drunken bad prompt say. And rude bad prompt say. So we've got those to start with, but we can make as many as we want. So it could just be in certain guys, we'll just have, and who knows, maybe there's a clue baked into asking the right guy the wrong question, right? What about an offended NPC they attack? We can do that. I don't know if we can do that cleanly at the moment, but in theory, that would just be an accurate, like, so if we predict that you're saying something offensive, then we could trigger them to do something. Is the team locked into the fighter moving into a more defensive retaliation playstyle for the deep dive, or other ideas still on the table? I submitted a stance idea to the fighter feedback about having abilities, having different mods based on stance to allow the fighter to have more choices without forcing buttons. First of all, I'm going to pronounce your name wrong, I think. Is it Kaishina, or how do I pronounce it? I'm going to not guess. Usually I try to guess, and I pride myself on getting it right, but... Bright Forges, thank you for the follow as well. Shina. Okay, cool. I like xylophone. Zai. Yeah, that's how you use that letter. I don't use that letter a lot. Shina. Okay, so Shina. I think the goal so far has been to provide different options of being more defensive, as you stated, or more offensive based on stance, and then there will be more details coming. When is the pipe getting a graphic of actual pipe smoking? I've asked Zukin about that. I think we have a pipe, and then over time we'll add in pipes as items that ideally it will pull from your... Well, maybe you should just have to equip it. I was about to say, if you've got, because yeah, you need a pipe slot. That of all the requests for extra slots, I think the only one I'm on board with is pipe slot. They're like light slot, tool slot, just pipe slot. Enchanter pet colors are combined with NPC colors, so all attack and take and damage looks the same. I've noticed changing colors and options doesn't fix. The programmer that we added yesterday, our new programmer will be it has come in to assist Encrypt and Ali with UI stuff. Their focus is UI. So we're adding additional bandwidth to UI. Because there's a lot of stuff in there that we want to do and we've wanted to do. It was funny though, I was talking to him yesterday and I was like, sometimes though I think when we get feedback that's, oh man, you know, don't like the UI, and so it's like, what don't you like about the UI? There's no map. It's like, okay, well, don't think that's, or you know what I mean? So there's some stuff like that is more of a design thing and not a UI thing, but there's a lot of UI work that can be done, period, and a lot of additional customization options and a lot of you know, stuff for you to be able to modify your experience to be more to your liking, but maybe it won't be default. Yeah. So Brimcon said there are a few